challenges, in our opinion, seem to have overwhelmed our security institutions.
The governors are supposed to be the state security officers of their state.
There is need for us to at least engage the traditional rulers.
We need to do something about our porous borders.
We have to own it from the unit level to the ward level to the local government to state.
Mr. President, the importance of today for us is for us to take action.
Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Denying prison inmates access to the electoral process constitutes an infringement of their rights.
The right of prisoners to vote under consideration at the Senate.
We should not be seen to be disobeying the court order, no matter how bad that court order is.
And Senate turns down President Buhari's request to amend portions of the electoral law. This is Inside the Senate, and I am Hussaina Amina Aboki, your anchor. Last week saw the Senate turning down the President's request for the deletion of Section 84, subsection 12 of the Electoral Act, which provides that political appointees must resign from their position 6 months before party primaries. The Senate also took the second reading of a bill on the right of inmates to vote, as well as prevention of fire hazards bill. We will conclude the program with a report on the Committee on Works as it considered a bill. Please stay tuned for the full package after the break.
The Senate to send a message to the President
to reap opportunities from that.
To raise a matter of urgent public importance.
And we are aware that when this particular motion comes up,
for a longer term development, arrive to second the motion.
Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Welcome back. One of the highlights of plenary last week was the Senate's effort to ensure that Nigeria's 68,000 prison inmates of different categories are not denied the right to vote in general elections. In the light of this, therefore, Senator Abba Moro on Tuesday, the 8th of March 2022, sponsored a motion titled "The Prerogative of Prison Inmates to Vote in General Elections in Nigeria, Statutory, Inalienable and Non-Negotiable," emphasizing that even with incarceration being one of the legal grounds of depriving a person or an offender in custody certain rights, such deprivation should not affect the right of citizens to register and vote during elections.
And denying prison inmates access to the electoral process constitutes an infringement of their rights as citizens of Nigeria as provided under Section 25 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended.
The motion attracted the following contributions.
The tradition across the world is that most prisoners are allowed to exercise their fundamental human right, and I think Nigeria should not be different.
A senator, however, called for caution.
In our correctional centers, you have those who are criminals, you have those who are waiting trial. You have those who have been condemned to death, who are hardened criminals. If this motion had actually, segregated these classes of inmates in our prisons, then we will accept it. But for somebody who is condemned to death, who is on the death row, you are extending fundamental right to the person to come and vote. I think it's a violation of our own laws.
Even then, one of the resolutions adopted was to urge INEC and all relevant agencies to carry out a voters' enlightenment exercise in all prisons in Nigeria to educate the inmates of their right and necessity to vote during general elections. The Senate also considered some bills for second reading. One of them, which was titled "A Bill for an Act to Make Provision for the Prevention of Fire Hazards and Safeguard of Persons and Property from Fire Disasters 2022, was sponsored by Senator Gershom Bassey. For details of these and other bills, let's take this report as compiled and presented from our studio.
Permit me to lead the debate
on this very essential bill.
In his submission, Senator Gershom Bassey stated that between 2019 and 2021, 79 lives were lost in the 68 fire incidences recorded in 18 months. He said that the Federal Fire Service statistics also show that between 2020 and 2021, a total of 4,541 fire distress calls were made to the service nationwide, with 378 rescue emergencies recorded.
The bill will ensure that a developer, when submitting the building plan to the authority having powers to approve the plan under any act, shall also submit to the fire officer a plan incorporating fire safety and prevention architecture for such a building.
Allowing this act to pass and for Mr. President to assent to it will be a historical moment for this 9th Assembly.
The bill therefore escaped second reading and was referred to the Committee on Interior to report back in 4 weeks.
The Electoral Act 2022.
Meanwhile, Senate President Nat'l says the governance system being operated by Nigeria provides for separation of powers amongst the three arms of government. He stated this in a reaction to the ruling of the Federal High Court Abuja on Monday the 7th of March 2022, barring the President, Attorney General of the Federation and the Senate from amending the recently signed Electoral Act as requested by the President in his letter of 1st March 2022. As a result of the letter, the PDP filed a suit before the Federal High Court Abuja challenging the powers of the Senate to amend the Electoral Act by deleting Section 84 subsection 12 of the Act, which provides that political appointees must resign 6 months to the date of party primaries to be qualified to vote or be voted for.
Our governance system is based on the presidential system of government, where there's clear-cut separation of powers. The judiciary, under no circumstance, can stop the legislature, the National Assembly, from performing its legislative duties. If the President writes to the National Assembly to request for an amendment, that is within his competence. And it is for the National Assembly to decide whether it agrees with the request of Mr. President or not. But to say that we cannot consider it is to ask for what is not there to be given.
Some senators commented,
the court cannot stop us from making laws. The problem with the letter the President sent was that there was a part of it that interpreted the law. And I think that is the only part that the court can act on, because he said that the law we made is ultraviolate the Constitution, which is not his responsibility. And I think to that extent, the court can comment on that one, but not on the fact that we are making law.
The argument you have raised is valid, but this point we present in court to discharge that order. We cannot sit and appeal here on a matter that's already been given an order in court. What we need to do is to brief our lawyers to go and discharge the order, instead of sitting here and then we say that we are disobeying court order.
Even then, the Senate President maintained his position that Senate action on the President's request will continue. And so, consideration of the request continued the following day, Wednesday the 9th of March 2022, with the Senate leader in the lead debate, quoting part of the Section 84, subsection 12, which the President wants deleted.
The above clause was interpreted as being in conflict with extant constitutional provisions to the extent that it disenfranchises serving political office holders from voting or being voted for at conventions or congresses of any political party for the purpose of the nomination of candidates for any election in cases where it holds earlier than 30 days to the national election.
Senators debated that matter.
Already, the parties involved have decided to go for appeal. I'm of the opinion, Mr. President, the right thing to do is to allow the appeal to go so that the court order can be set aside. We should not be seen to be disobeying the court order, no matter how bad that court order is.
Here we are today in Nigeria, and people think that they can sit in an office and contest an election and become candidates and continue to sit in that office until the date of election. So how would we continue to debase democracy in this way? It's a settled matter in law that you cannot be a judge over your own case.
In any election, Mr. President, where people have the added advantage of holding executive power, either by proxy or directly, either by appointment, and for such people to have access to compete with others who came from the street, I think it's an unjust society. Yeah. Therefore, Mr. President, I disagree with all the arguments emanating from your table on the need to reconsider a decision that already been settled.
The Electoral Act, there was a provision some of us fought for, and the provision, I believe, is also at the beginning of Section 84, that says that no political party shall seek to disqualify anybody by importing into the process a provision for qualification or disqualification not otherwise provided for in the Constitution. I therefore rise to support the motion as moved by the Senate leader, that we allow this very bill to go to second reading.
With this, the question was put.
Those in favor that this bill be now read a second time, say aye. Those against say nay. Nays had it.
Without vote, further action on the bill was discontinued.
We will now take a break to open the Senate notebook. When we return, more reports from plenary. Don't go away.
The Senate Standing or Ad hoc Committee, as the case may be, performs its duties through various ways. It holds regular meetings to deliberate on bills or other matters referred to them by the Senate. 2. It conducts fact-finding and investigative hearings to enhance quality of bills with a view to obtaining relevant knowledge for oversight purposes. And 3. It also visits sites and agencies to obtain information and facts that will help its case.
The only way out of the pandemic is for the population to observe the recommended measures advised by the NCDC. The Senate Committees on Health and Primary Health Care and Communicable Diseases will continue to engage with the Federal Ministry of Health and the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19.
You are watching Inside the Senate. We now continue with reports from the chamber. Several bills were presented for second reading on Wednesday, the 9th of March 2022. One of them was the Federal College of Agriculture and Animal Sciences Establishment Bill 2022, sponsored by Senator Ibrahim Dambaba.
The bill seeks to, among others, 1. Establish Federal College of Agriculture and Animal Sciences Shagari, Sokoto State, to train agriculturists and farmers in the Northwest and Nigeria in general. 2. Serve as an institution for advanced agricultural research in all fields of agriculture and animal husbandry.
With the establishment of this College of Agriculture, we believe that it will go a long way in making Sokoto State a better place to live.
As we battle to look for employment for teeming youth across the nation, agriculture is a major fallback. It's a major area to refer to. So whatever we can do to enhance agriculture and agricultural knowledge of our teeming youth across the country is a right step in the right direction.
I think it will be a very wonderful opportunity for Nigeria to have this college so that we can extend the frontier of training to our youth. And this will further support the diversification of the Nigerian economy.
When the question was put, the bill scaled second reading and was referred to the committees on Third Fund and Agriculture to report back in 4 weeks. Also presented for second reading was the Federal College of Medical Sciences Nasarawa Egon Establishment Bill 2022, sponsored by Senator Godiya Akwashiki.
The establishment of this institution is informed by the imperative to create more access to higher health and medical studies in view of the large number of qualified candidates who are annually stranded in their failed attempt in gaining admissions into higher institutions in the state.
My support for bills like this is always premised on the fact that the situation that exists in our country today is a very low ratio of trained medical and paramedical personnel compared to the population of our people.
The bill then scaled second reading and was referred to the Committee on Third Fund and Health to report back in 4 weeks. Same day also saw the third reading of the Proceeds of Crime, Recovery and Management Bill 2022. The bill, amongst other things, is seeking to make comprehensive provisions for seizure, confiscation, forfeiture and management of properties reasonably suspected to have been derived from unlawful activities. To strengthen the criminal confiscation procedure by ensuring that the total benefits of a person's criminal activities is recovered, as well as to strengthen and expand the mandate of existing statutory institutions to manage the proceeds of crimes rather than creating new bodies to perform such functions. After second reading on Wednesday the 26th of January 2022, the bill was referred to the Committees on Anti-Corruption as well as Judiciary for more legislative action. One of such actions was a public hearing, of which the outcome was presented to the Senate on Tuesday the 8th of March 2022 by the committee chairman, Senator Suleiman Abdukwari.
I move that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Senate Joint Committee on Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes and Judiciary on a bill for an act to make for comprehensive provisions and management of properties reasonably suspected to have been derived from unlawful activities and other related matters.
The report was then considered clause by clause in the Committee of the Whole, leading to its passage. The Senate President commented on the passage.
This is one of our major contributions to the anti-corruption fight by this administration, and indeed a very big boost to our country in the area of ensuring that we eliminate completely or minimize the embezzlement of public funds by public servants.
In another development, the Senate President also announced the appointment of a new clerk of the Senate. He is Barrister Francis Chinedu Akubweze. Before his appointment, Barrister Akubweze was the clerk of the House of Representatives. Senate President Ahmad Lawan welcomed him to the Red Chamber.
I wish you a very successful tenure and a very productive engagements with the Senate. You are in the House of Representatives, so you assume that you have gathered some experience of how to run your secretariat and indeed the activities of the chamber.
Welcome back. The Senate President has advocated the deployment of new technologies for public-private partnership in the provision of infrastructure and services to stimulate economic activities that would improve the standard of living of Nigerians. He made this known at a recent public hearing by the Senate Committee on Works. Let's take the full report as presented from our studio.
Senator Ahmed Lawan, who was represented by the Senate Deputy Whip, spoke at the opening of a public hearing organized by the Committee on Works on a bill for an act to repeal the Infrastructure Concessionary Regulatory Commission Act 2005 and enact the Public-Private Partnership Regulatory Commission Act 2022.
Before us is the need to deliver a clear and well-defined legal, regulatory, and institutional framework for attracting investment and proper allocation of risk in the provision of infrastructure and related services. I am happy the Senate Committee on Work is clear about these objectives and has consequently invited you all to join in the cross-fertilization of ideas on the proposal as stakeholders in our growth and development efforts.
The committee chairman shed more light on the bill.
This bill is people-oriented. This is because it seeks to facilitate private sector investment in the provision and maintenance of both the new and existing infrastructure in an effective and efficient manner. It is meant to attract private and public financial resources for investment to improve social and economic services relevant to the national development.
Stakeholders took turns to make their contributions on the proposed legislation.
Section 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16 of Part 2 comprehensively deals with procurement rules for PPPs. This was never in ICRC Act. This has shown the reason why this bill should be passed.
The position of the Nigeria Governors Forum is that instances where a project will be situated in a state, that approval for right-of-way shall be sought from the relevant state representative. This is only ideal, being the fact that most projects will be situated in a state, and it is the governor of that state that has authority over the land in that state. So it is only ideal that the project that is going to be situated in that state, approval for the right-of-way should be sought from the relevant state authority. So we are proposing that this amendment be inserted in Section 16.
The bill that is being presented here today in Clause 33, 2C, provide as follows. It says reduction of or exemption from certain fiscal regimes and the granting of loans and other similar support to specific projects. The above clause seeks to further grant exemption from further certain fiscal regimes. For the purpose of tax administration, distinguished senators, further exemption from fiscal regimes that are not in line with the existing tax laws may impact negatively on the revenue generation of the country. And when further incentive is granted in this nature, especially as related to taxation, it will further deplete the resources that is available to the government.
While the bill is welcome, it is very important to emphasize that the change in the law enacting ICRC should be geared towards clearly delimiting the functions of ICRC to regulation and monitoring of PPP projects. In other words, government would want to prevent interagency conflicts by ensuring that ICRC's functions are limited to regulations, while implementation and supervision of projects should be the functions of the relevant MDAs involved in the PPP process.
After several other submissions, the committee promised to compile a report of its findings for presentation to plenary for more legislative action.
That's it on Senate activities for the week in review. To close the program, we will take the profile segment. Stand by for our Senator of the Week.
Senator Christopher Ekpeon represents Akwa Ibom Northwest Senatorial District under PDP. He attended St. Patrick Primary School, Ikot Okana in Akwa Ibom State and St. Michael Primary School, Rumuamasi, Port Harcourt, Rivers State for his first school leaving certificate. For secondary education, Senator Ekpeon attended Government Technical College, Port Harcourt in 1970 and Federal Government Technical College, Yaba, Lagos in 1975. At the tertiary level, he attended Federal Polytechnic, Bida, Niger State for his Ordinary National Diploma OND in Electrical Engineering and Electronics in 1977 and the Polytechnic, Calabar, Cross River State for his Higher National Diploma HND in 1982. Thereafter, he proceeded to Kensington University, Honolulu, Hawaii in USA for a Master's in Business Administration and Marketing in 1995 and a PhD from the same university. He joined politics and was Deputy Governor of Akwa Ibom State from 1999 to 2005 During the administration of the then Governor Victor Atta, he was elected senator under PDP in the 2019 general elections to represent Akwa Ibom Northwest Senatorial District. His legislative interests include education, agriculture, and maritime development.
This brings us to the end of the program. Inside the Senate, we'll return with another fresh package of legislative business in the Senate wing of the National Assembly. Until then, do stay safe and thanks for watching.